Cool, we are alive. All right, before people come in, because this is going to be uploaded as a video, I want to say what's up, Yoon-Fam, and I am joined today by Ragiroth. So everyone, welcome Rich. What's up, Rich? How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
That is good. Just finished watching the new Falcon and Winter Soldier episode.
I was literally in the middle of watching it when you called me.
You Sebastian Stan.
Yep.
So like that was nice. Have you watched Invincible yet?
I haven't. No.
You gotta watch it, bro. It's amazing. It's awesome. I never read the comics, but it's great. Okay, so what we're gonna talk about today, guys, is season 3 DLC. Of course, like we've been covering constantly on the channel. We're gonna have a couple of different points. Hey, what's up, Patriots? What's going on? We're gonna have an open conversation. We're gonna address the chat every couple minutes and see what you guys have to say. So make sure you're posting in the chat what you want us to question or answer or talk about, or if you have any rebuttals or anything like that. And if you have a question for Rich directly, please add him and me respectively, or if you want both, then you can just open it up. So we're going to do this in a point-by-point basis. This isn't a debate by any means. The first thing that we're going to talk about is, I forget, what were we going to talk about the first thing? I think it was like
why we think season 3 is still going.
It's still happening. Okay. And then after that, we're going to cover why we think it's not happening. And then we're going to end it with why it may not be a good or a bad thing. So I hope you guys enjoy this stream, and we're going to get started. Before we get in here, I want to recognize the people in the chat. Hello, everybody, and what's up, Raging Ningen? Huang and Smash is never going to happen. Give that up right now.
I wish.
Yeah, right. If anybody from Soul Calibur came to Smash, it would probably be either Ivy, but probably not because of the censorship. Probably just Nightmare. I think he's the only one that has a chance.
I mean, he's in the logo for Project Soul.
Yeah, he's the only one that would stand a chance of getting in there.
I would not complain with that. I'd be completely fine with that.
I wouldn't either. All right, so I'm going to open up by saying that like there is still a possibility that season 3 is happening. Obviously, there's always a possibility, but I think specifically a lot of people lost morale after the We Play You stream or tournament happened, and there was no announcements or anything of that nature in regards to season 3 DLC. But I mean, we do have Evo coming up in the summer. That is a little far ways off, and it's already been 4 months since Huang Young was released. So that does present roadblocks in and of itself, but the world is opening back up. So I think that there is always a distinct possibility. What are your thoughts on the possibilities of season 3 and why, Rich?
Okay, so just to refresh, the We Play You thing, that was the fighting game. Was that the Japanese fighting game thing? Or like
it was a tournament.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. And
did they even
Soul
announce
Calibur,
anything like there for any
I
other
don't think
games?
so. No, it was on Twitch, and Soul Calibur was featured heavily prominently.
Okay. Yeah, I still think it has a shot because it's like, okay, so season 1 was announced obviously when the game first came out. Season 2 was announced. Was it at Evo, or am I misremembering?
No, I believe it was Evo.
Okay. So I personally feel like, I mean, I know, yeah, like you said, Evo is, like it has been a while since, we got Huang back in December, and it's been like 4 months, and then Evo was like July, right? So that's another few months. So it is a while, but I do think it just seems like Evo is kind of the place they like to announce the new seasons for this game. And especially, I do think
Evo is free this year and it's online. So it's not behind a paywall. So that's even more of a positive for it.
Exactly.
By the way, Rich, can you answer Raging Ningen's question real quick? Can you see the chat?
Oh, actually, no, I don't see anything in the chat.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just me for the StreamYard chat.
Wait. So. I see comments. I see some stuff in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was his question?
It says, they said that something was delayed. So maybe it was season 3.
Delayed. Maybe it was season 3 itself that got delayed. That's a possibility. I mean, and again, I was just going to say, it's like, I know I'm a broken record with this, and I know we're all so tired of hearing it, but I guess the pandemic has slowed a lot of stuff down, so that might have kind of just throw off their schedule so much. Anyway.
The problem with the schedules, though, is if they have a specific roadmap that was already pre-approved by Bandai Namco to release on schedule, they have to apply for a new reapproval. And and it happens too with the licensing with the guest character. So if the guest character was supposed to be coming out on a certain specific month and they use up that license, they have to reapply for a new license for that as well.
I mean, of course, it's like, the guest character I'm predicting the most, their game kind of got delayed as well. I don't know if that means anything.
Which character were you?
Like Guilty Gear character for Strive, probably Soul Bad Guy.
Soul Bad Guy would be the only.
Their game has gotten delayed a couple times too. So I don't know if like and this is just me speculating. If that would be the guest character. Like if that would affect like well they delayed the game, so maybe we can renew the license or something like that.
I hear you. Solar595, what's up? And what's up, Tay-Man? Would one of you guys be able to please post this in the Discord chat, the live stream for this, so everyone else has a chance to see it? Matt, that'd be great if you could do that. Demon Slayer just commented. Go ahead. Would
you two like to see another Tekken creation pack featuring Jin and Kazuya's costume along with hairstyles? I would actually like that more than the Tekken one we got now, honestly. So yes,
I would too, especially if there's a Hwarong pack, because like there's no Korean stuff in the game for the Korean characters. So if I can actually give like Hwang like an actual Taekwondo uniform, that would be, even though he doesn't do Taekwondo, he does Taekyon, which is the precursor to Taekwondo. But I would really love that actually.
I think I would actually love if I could give Yoshimitsu his Tekken 6 outfit because that's probably my favorite design for Yoshimitsu. I would love if we got that, like previous Yoshimitsu designs.
That would be cool. David King says Devil Jin style for Creative Soul. I doubt it.
I would like it, but
I would like regular Kazuya or Jin over that anyway. So it's better for Creative Soul. But I did enjoy it in 5. It looks a little wonky when it comes to like certain characters. Like I would create like Superman with it, and then all of a sudden he's got like wings popping out and crap, and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the Devil Jin style, but it would probably just be better like if we got like maybe like Kazuya instead for the style because it's more, I guess, neutral for lack of a better term.
Yeah, in my opinion as well. You have anything else in favor of season 3? It's still happening.
I mean, I guess the only thing I could say is, we still have those code names that are, as far as we know in the files, unless they were removed in an update. If they were removed in an update, then that's bad. But as far as I know, they're still there.
They're just code placeholders, so they've been in there since season 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. But even if a season 3 doesn't happen, like it'll still stay in the code. They're not going to remove it from the code because it's not active HTML. Like there's nothing active in that actually affects the gameplay or the game itself. It's just a placeholder code for where that line of code is going to go when the characters are released. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, even if they do remove it, like I just think it'll be a waste of resources if they tried to remove it for whatever reason. I don't know if that would affect it at all, but that is still a good point that like the codes are still in there.
Plot twist: Hwarong is the guest character.
Dude, if Hwarong was the guest character,
put him in instead of Yoon Song.
yeah, just replace Yoon Song with him, and I'd be great. That'd be fine.
I'm like, all right, sure, I'll take it.
yeah. It's like I said, especially, I mean, what would tick me off though if we did get Hwarong, but it wasn't his Taekwondo uniform; it was like his biker outfit uniform, and then I'm just like,
probably pick that just because that's usually his
main. Yeah, I know. Nothing screams South Korea like motorcycle bikers and eye patches.
Oh man, I was expecting that to see when I go to South Korea one day.
Yeah. Every K-pop idol, like whenever, like you ever watch BTS, man, they only have eye patches and biker jackets. Yeah, I don't understand why Bandai Namco like creates their Korean characters with like no Korean attributes like whatsoever in like any game. I've never seen them like. Except for that hidden outfit for the unlockable outfit in Soul Calibur 3 when Sungmina actually has her Hongbuk, her dress, her Korean dress. That was like the closest I've ever seen it though.
No, it is really weird with that. Like I know Japan is a thing with Korea, but yeah, I mean even I feel like Street Fighter I think it came a little closer with juries. It's like I don't know.
I mean she does use Taekwondo, but again like she acts like this like crazy lunatic gangster girl and like
she has black hair at least.
That is true. They're like, all right, what do you think of when you think of Korea? Neon orange hair. They're all like Super Saiyans apparently. Ranger Ningen says Yoon Song as the first DLC followed by Hwarong since we wanted Koreans. Yeah, we'll just make this Korean the game. Soul Calibur Special
Korea edition.
We give them all like BTS outfits and they all do like a dance in the opening cinema.
I wish.
That'd be excellent. I think some of the positives that we still are pointing towards still having it is the lack of communication. on Twitter, so I had lack of communication against them in the first point. But I think it actually now seems to there's something working behind the scenes, because I feel like if it wasn't going to happen, they wouldn't say it's canceled because it hasn't been announced. So the only reason we know about it again is because of the data mines. But I feel like they would come out and say like, thank you everyone for supporting Soul Calibur 6. We are going to continue to update the game with patches and things of that nature. Look forward for future announcements, and the soul still burns or something like that. They wouldn't say that it's over, but they would unofficially say that it's over.
I feel like, I feel like a lot of fighting games, like it's very rare they just want to come out and say like, yeah, it's over. Especially some that I know, NetherRealm Studios.
Solar for 95 says, I do wish Bandai Namco and Project Soul would be more transparent about things. Definitely. Again, I don't know like what's stopping them from just like letting people know that they're still working on the game. Like that's to me, that's like they do this thing where if you're on Twitter or Facebook or anything, every birthday for one of the characters, they release like a bunch of info about like character designs and actual info about that certain character and everything like that. But besides doing stuff and just retweeting other Bandai Namco projects, they haven't said anything. Like Okubo even and Masuyama, like they're just radio silent. I have no idea. They congratulated the winner of the Soul Calibur tournament on We Play You, but that's about it.
Yeah, I it seems like I noticed that with the bigger companies, they don't want to communicate as much. But I feel like smaller companies, they do want to communicate a bit more. I guess it's just because it's less people, so they can. I don't know. But then again, I think more people would be able to answer the questions more. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand what's the deal with the communication. I think that's the easiest aspect they can have is just like coordinate with the social media coordinator and release some kind of statement like the soul still burns. Like we're working on future updates and patches, even something like that. Because it's not like they're going to shut off support for the game altogether, even if we don't get a season 3. Like we're going to have updates and patches. We might even get costume parts and things of that nature, just like thrown in there for free. They've done stuff like that in the past, but I don't know. I really wish that they, yeah, that hashtag would actually be a lot better if his name wasn't pronounced the actual way that it is. Because like if it was pronounced like like Maximilian Dude says it, then yeah, it'd be a Huang Gang. But we'll just call it Huang Gong. Gong. Yeah, there are a few positives about like the lack of communication though, because it can mean like as a small team that they are, Project Soul is, they could just be straight up working on stuff. And they don't really owe us an explanation of like working or not working. You want to read David's comment?
Yeah, sure. All right. Dave King says, I have said this before, but remember, they already gave closure in the last patch with Nightmare's extra episode.
The problem with that, though, is that it's ambiguous. It's not very conclusive because it says to be continued, which is the first time that they've done that in any of the seasons. So it can be implied that to be continued until Soul Calibur 7, but it can also be to be continued until the next season.
Well, here's the thing. I definitely agree. That would probably be something we're going to talk about in the why it's not happening.
Yeah,
but I think that could also be taken as that because you know how in like the story mode there's like the timeline. Well, maybe like if we did get more characters, their stories would just not progress past that timeline. Maybe that's all it means is that like this is the farthest in Soul Calibur 6 we're going with the timeline, but there could still be more stories to tell that happen like before this part at least, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean, even if we don't have a payable season pass, it doesn't mean they're not going to add stuff like that anyway. Like, we could get some kind of contextual stuff.
And Solar Flare said, even if we don't get a season 3, it's still likely to give some creation parts. I'd imagine doing something like that would take much less resources to make him a character from the ground up.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would. They would give us patches and updates that actually have the new stuff in there. They would still probably give us stuff. Raging Nigan says, I mean, they can go with other characters for extra story in season 3. It doesn't have to be Nightmare. No, he's talking about Nightmare's story specifically was the conclusion of the setup for Soul Calibur 7. So it said to be continued, as in we'll see you next time. He's not saying specifically because it's Nightmare's story. It's specifically because they've never said to be continued before. So that implies that there's a conclusion to the setup, the prequel for Soul Calibur 7.
I also had another idea. This would kind of suck, but if they added more characters, but they don't have a Soul Chronicle.
I mean, I can see them doing that, and especially with who's allotted for the cast of season 3. Fox, I said that also, but the thing is, they didn't say that for season pass 1 to 2, so like it seems a little strange that they would conclude season 2 that way and not the first one. But what was I saying? Crap. I forget. So we'll just move on.
I was talking about how like they might have more characters, but they just might not have a soul.
Right. Because we're setting up for the swords and the shepherds, right? For the storyline of the Akatsuki and Soul Calibur for Soul Calibur 7. So Rock and Aeon and Yoon Song arguably wouldn't have anything to do with that storyline anyway, because those are always characters that do things on their own and they're not usually part of the main story. So they might just release them without a Soul Chronicle. I can see that happening. Solar
Flare actually asked the question directly to me. What are my thoughts on the swords and shepherds? I definitely think, I guess in terms of like if you're saying if I like them or not, I definitely think they're interesting, and I think it's definitely a kind of cool new way of kind of continuing Soul Calibur without kind of retreading past things, but also not totally like I guess breaking the originals either. I'm definitely more interested about them, and I am curious if like any of them will become playable or so like be a character in the future. I think you talked about that one time, Mark. Like if they'll become playable characters, but I think it's cool. I'm interested.
Yeah. I always like that the Akatsuki evil team kind of thing that they do in things. Like I loved it in Bleach. I love it in Naruto.
Anime, Japanese game trope.
Mr. Fox Wild is saying that they would add Ryo Hayabusa as a guest. It's a possibility, especially isn't there like a new HD collection or something like that for?
Yeah, there's the HD collection, and there is rumors. I mean, they're just rumors that there might be a new Ninja Gaiden game. So I think if there is a new Ninja Gaiden game, I think that he definitely would be a
shoo-in. Yeah, he'd be a shoo-in for that's for sure. David says, I see the to be continued as a shield of sorts. If they continue with season 3, then no problem. But if they don't, then Project Soul in a way has already said goodbye. I completely agree with that sentiment. I don't think there's anything wrong with what you just said. It could be either way. So it is a protectorate of sorts. Yeah. Mr. Fox Wild says, we're going to talk about our next point after this comment. I like guest characters.
Real quick, I'm sorry. Regarding the swords and shepherds, I think I also like because if say Soul Calibur 7 is kind of going to be kind of like Soul Calibur 2, I think it's actually. But yeah, I think it's kind of like because it's like Soul Calibur 2, like I love it, but it's like the bad guy was just Inferno again. So I think this is kind of a way to kind of continue it in that direction, but not just have the main villain just be Inferno again.
I don't think we're going to see Inferno be a main villain. I don't think we're going to see Abyss come back necessarily as a bad guy. I think Salamel is proved in this game that he's going down a different path than he followed in the original timeline.
Especially because he already has some of Abyss's moves and stuff.
Exactly, and he's more of a trainer and a protagonist in this game than he has anything of like a side antagonist or even main antagonist. Yeah, but they are. I've told this to people before too. It's like Soul Calibur 6 is so different in retelling this timeline's variation of the time frame of Soul Calibur 1. That's the best way I can put it because it's not a retelling of Soul Calibur 1 at all. But the events of this timeline, they're so different going into the next Soul Calibur game that they're not going to retread 2 and 3 like at all. I think they're going to like go in a completely new direction because they know that 2 and 3 still exist, and 2's like arguably the most beloved and popular Soul Calibur game. I mean, 3 is personally my favorite, but I know a lot of people feel like 2 is like
I think 2 is one of the most beloved and one of my favorite. But I think story wise, I think people wouldn't really care that much if it was kind of like, you know, because people mainly like I think for the game, the gameplay, the guest characters, the content and stuff. I think if the story wasn't retreaded, I don't think people would be that upset.
And we already have the HD collection on last gen, so 2 gens ago now.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So I mean, I could see them releasing a newer version of that for current gen consoles, but like 2 in that is severely like hacked. There's like there's no link because they can't get the license rights from Nintendo. And then I think some of the modes are actually omitted from the HD collection as well.
I think it had everything except Link. I'm pretty sure.
I like playing as Spawn in that. Spawn's fun as hell in Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guest characters in Soul Calibur.
I mean, we're pretty biased from that too. Tayman says, what if they create a new timeline in Soul Calibur 7? Well, they just created a new timeline for Soul Calibur 6, and it was because of the cataclysmic events that happened at the end of 5. So I don't think that they would go into another new timeline after they just established this one. I think we're going to go forward, and some of the new characters that we're actually going to see are probably the Swords and Shields. I mean, the Swords and Shepherds. I think Swords and Shields would have been a much better name. The Swords and Shepherds just like doesn't roll off your tongue like at all.
Like, but, I think it's a cool. It is like a neat name, but it's like it is like awkward to say.
Right, especially because the two don't necessarily go together. Like when I think of shepherd, I think of like sheep and like herding and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't necessarily
hurting somebody with like a herding sheep with a sword.
It is cool, but I would have preferred Swords and Shields. But maybe they're thinking like, oh, Pokemon just came out, so we're not going to try and like confuse people. It's like there you go, Mewtwo as guest character, Mewtwo X. As a guest character, you know, Soul Calibur Season 3.
I know. I think there are some comments we didn't respond to. I see David King said,
"Sorry."
I see that to be continued. Oh no, we did read that. Solar Flare said, "I personally love a Diablo character as a guest. That'd be cool." He already fight with weapons. I think it was responding to something we said. Mr. Fox said, "I like guest characters with movesets. I would rather have those slots for returning characters." I mean. I agree, you know, to an extent. I have a love-hate relationship with guest characters.
Demon Slayer says, with Cassandra knowing the original timeline, will Patroclus make a return with his basic style? First and foremost, no. If Patroclus ever came back, it would never be the Soul Calibur 5 version, because even though people like his fighting style, he's hated as an actual character. He's like on the bottom of like a lot of people's like tier lists and things of that nature. But Cassandra knowing the past does actually it influenced Cassandra in this timeline to not retread the events of what happened before. But I don't know, like I don't think they're gonna do. They might do Pyrrha again, because like in Cassandra's Soul Chronicle, Sophia says you can name my first child, and she was like, oh, I'll name it like I forget what the name is. It started with a D. But that was if it was a boy. So maybe if it's a girl, it is Pyrrha, and I can see Pyrrha as having a much better chance of returning than her brother. But I think they're going to stay as far away from Soul Calibur 5 as possible, because that's what pretty much contributed mostly to killing the series in the first place. And it's not really, I mean, it's garnered a better following recently, but if you're like a financer, or you're like, you know, investing in in Bandai Namco or Soul Calibur, and you see the numbers of that game compared to like the numbers of the rest of the series, you're going to want to stay as far away from that as possible, especially with the new trajectory that they're on. But I mean, that could change. I could be wrong. That's just my own speculation.
I mean, it is a shame, because there are some things from 5 I do want to see return, but it's like, you know, it's not a huge list by any means.
Solarfire says, come on, Mark. We all know you want Natsu back. I absolutely do not want Natsu back. Natsu can kiss my ass. She looks cool, but like, I mean, you took away my Taki in that game because you claim she's too old. Like, shut up, Soul Calibur. Like, Taki is probably one of my mains, and the fact that they took away so many characters in that game to replace them with like lesser versions of themselves is like really like if Natsu had like a different weapon, like let's say she had a chain scythe, right, or a sickle with a chain, and she was like completely different, then I'd be like, awesome, that's a new generation, let's go. But she was exactly like Taki with like a few different moves, so it's just, I don't know.
And David King says, but I hope Viola and Zwei make the Soul Calibur 7. I 100% agree with that. That's some of the things I want to see back from 5. I like Viola way more than Amy.
And Viola is heavily hinted at already in this game. We see her in her Soul Chronicle with Aswell, like looking at her through the orb, like Viola. So like the transformation is already going to take place as well. And Zwei is actually mentioned in the library. But he is 12 years old in this timeline right now, so he probably will show up with Viola as one of the Swords and Shepherds, because his name is Zwei, is one of those German numbers, the same as like Ishka Octon and things of that nature. So I think he will show up with Viola as a Sword and Shield in Soul Calibur 7, but it's not going to be Season 3. I just want to put that out there. It would be Soul Calibur 7.
Mr. Fox said Abyss might return as a different creature. Instead of it being a scythe, it's probably going to be a sickle with a chain. I mean, that would be cool, but it just would be kind of a shame for like that style to be used on like a character that's kind of like a boss or something like that. Though I do like Abyss, of course.
I like Abyss too, but I think we're going to see a new variation of Nightmare as opposed to that. I think somebody else is going to get imbued with the powers from like the Soul Edge and we're going to see somebody else transform besides Siegfried's alternate self. And I think that might be a plot point coming up. But I don't know if they're going to retread Abyss at all, to be honest. Like, I don't think they will.
Yeah. I think he just has some moves that are going to live on through Zasima. I think it's about it. And I'm fine
I would love
that.
somebody with a sickle and chain, though. That would be great. Like, if we
that
can
I definitely want.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocket Kid TV says, do you guys think that the new timeline is being rushed right now due to the fact that we already got an early mention of Algol? No, because Algol's been hinted at heavily in the game already to be in Soul Calibur 7, and he is the disembodied voice that is talking to Ishka Acht at the end of Huang's Soul Chronicle in the new DLC, but they don't expressively say that it's Algol. They just like heavily hint at it. But I don't think it's being rushed. Like, Algol is probably going to show up as a means to an end. Like, I think he'll show up as like the main antagonist of 7, but something that with like the shepherds and swords, like Ishka Acht is going to find some way of like absorbing the power of Soul Edge and becoming a new nightmare and possibly destroying Algol and taking his place. I don't think, especially now with the conduit being the direct link to like the astral chaos and the astral fissures and that power, I think there's going to be something to do with like Algol gets like killed, Aswell gets killed, possibly by the conduit, and then the power gets absorbed by Soul Edge and Soul Calibur, and then like goes into Ishka Acht or something like that. Maybe she fuses again with Wang Gobak, or all of the swords and shepherds get absorbed. It's going to be something like that. I don't think he's going to be like the end all be all. I don't think he's going to be like as major as he was before.
I think Algol, the thing is, Algol is like a character that's like he's like deep far in the lore of Soul Calibur, like he was like far in the past, but it's just that the creators just didn't think of him until kind of later on in the series. So I don't think he's necessarily being rushed. I think it's just that because we know of him now, he's going to be brought up a bit sooner. That's what I think.
Yeah, maybe we'll see like a different variation on him. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the same Algol. Like, is there one Algol in all of the timelines, or is this going to be this version of Algol? Just lost in the astral chaos, and like he has a totally different backstory. Like, I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Wait for that. We can speculate to the cows come home when it comes to that, but I don't know if we can really definitively say anything with all the changes we've seen.
Oh yeah, because Raphael was Nightmare in Soul Calibur 5. I always forgot that though, because it's like Nightmare just looks like, you know, Siegfried Nightmare with the big sword and all that.
Well, we've seen Inferno be Nightmare in this game. I don't know, like, I don't think they're going to be like an actual Nightmare. I think it's just going to be, because to me, Nightmare is like a part of like Siegfried's internal personality and struggle. So I think if someone else does get possessed by Soul Edge, I think it's going to see a completely different iteration, of that character. But I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a retread of Nightmare, because they're going to want to put Nightmare in the game already. Like, he's a mainstay of the series, so they're not going to replace him. They're just going to have him and then a new person who gets absorbed by Soul Edge, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you want to move on to the next part after you read a couple comments, Rich?
Yeah, sure, we could do that. Let's see. Oh, Rocket Kid asked, isn't there already a Soul Calibur female character wearing yellow dress that uses sickles?
Yeah, it's Aurelia from Soul Calibur 3. She's a bonus character.
Yeah. You can make her a full character, but I don't know how likely that is.
I mean, if we get... I think a lot of those, some of them are mentioned. Like, I mean, in Libra of Souls, there's Arthur, which is like that like other samurai, the blonde samurai. And I think Miser is in Libra of Souls also.
That's right. Yeah.
So we could see a couple characters like return like that, but it would be not as main characters. They'd probably be just like mentioned or like part of the story or something like that. Tayman says Superman wouldn't stand a chance against Algol. I mean, Superman's like taken on gods before.
I like Algol, but I don't know if you'd be able to.
Superman also like, didn't he like destroy some like a god that came out of the source wall? What was that thing's name? It was like that giant like Robotech looking god thing. I forget the name of it.
I'm not familiar with that, but I mean,
I really forget the name of it. But I mean, Superman's a hack, so like, I mean, not like a hack isn't a bad guy, but I mean, like, he's a plot device, so like, he'll get whatever powers he needs to. He's been electric with Strange Visitor absorbing him. He's had 2 versions of himself, like, and if people like him, they just created like a whole new character. Yeah, but Darkseid's not necessarily like a god. Like, I know he's like the what do you call it? The opposite of Highfather from the New Gods, but I don't think he's technically a god. I think he's just like a super strong alien.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like a title.
Yeah, he's like a Titan, kind of like Thanos. You know, because Thanos is heavily based off of Darkseid to begin with. But all right, we're gonna move on. Well, Amazo, which version of Amazo? Because Doctor Ivo's android is if you're talking about Justice League Unlimited or certain comics, Amazo becomes a god. Like he like literally goes off into space and like becomes a god. And then nobody could stop him at that point. It happened in Justice League Unlimited, and I forget which comic series it was, but sometimes Amazo is shown as just like a doofus. Like in Batman Under the Red Hood, Amazo's just like, "Oh, I got powers," and then just gets his ass beat by like Robin.
I forgot he's in that. Oh my god, yeah.
He's like the first. He just pops out of that truck in the beginning.
Oh,
Anti-Monitor, yeah.
They're saying he's might be the Anti-Monitor you're talking about.
All right, so the next part we're going to be talking about is why we might not see a season 3 and why that may not necessarily be a bad thing. We'll conclude with that. But Rich, you want to start us off with a couple of possibilities of why we may not see a season 3?
Okay. I mean, I think the easiest one is just that it's been a long amount of time and we have not heard anything. No, like you said, no things them saying like, yeah, we are working on it, or just no official confirmation. And they have had a couple opportunities to say that to confirm it, and they just haven't done anything. I mean, I personally do think Evo is the last shot. If it's not at Evo, then that's definitely it. But
yeah,
Evo, like you said, Evo is a ways off, and it's already been a long amount of time. So it's not looking good in that regard, at least.
I agree. I think Evo is the last shot we have for Soul Calibur having a season 3. If we don't see anything at Evo, it's not happening, and I'll 100% definitively say that.
Yeah,
you can hold me to that.
I agree with that too.
There's a lot of reasons, like not just the 4 months since Huang came out, but the production was already stretched as it is. It took over a year for all of season 2 to come out. So if season 3 does get announced and then like the next character comes out, if they keep up with the same 4-month time spread they've been doing now, we're talking about like 16 months. Like a year and 2 months for all of the characters to come out. And at that point, it's going to be 2022. Jesus. We're going to be heavily into the lifespan at that point of the current generation, PS5 and Series X. I don't think that's another reason against me that I think that's going to come out unless they put it out as like a huge patch and they come out fast. But like Rich was saying, with the pandemic and the work schedule that they've been having and the budget now, I do not see that being the case. I can't see them like releasing the last character at the end of 2022. That's crazy to me.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is like maybe this season will like go by a little faster, but I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that. There
was always that possibility, but if we already had the approval and the roadmap and now we have to reapply for all that stuff, all that litigation takes time. So I mean, like even if we do get approved for everything, we may not even see an announcement like until June or July. And then if that's the case after Evo, there's like no reason for them to even do it. You want to read some comments? Yeah,
sure. Okay, Rocket Kid said, I mean, I get that the virus has been causing delays and everything, but I still think if we still don't crap in Evo, it's very apparent.
Yeah, I think you meant don't get crap.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Everyone's gonna sync up their poop schedule, so when Evo announces, we'll all just take a giant shit at the same time.
It's like, oh, hang on, oh,
season 3, we're all like powering up.
But no, yeah, I think that's the common consensus. Is it's Evo or bust. I think at this point.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any more reasons why? Actually, Jesse MB27. I wasn't thinking of Anti-Monitor. I was thinking of Imperex. Imperex was the character that I was thinking of. Yeah, he was a boss. But is there any reasons that you have that you don't think season 3 is coming?
I do think it's like, because it's like Soul Calibur 6. It is a popular game and stuff, but it's like, I feel
it's pretty niche amongst the top fighters, though, to be honest.
I feel like it isn't quite like, because I know it's like, I keep thinking like, Tekken 7 got 4 seasons, but it's like, that's Tekken.
It's Tekken. Yeah.
It's like, first of all, it's Bandai Namco's baby. Well, baby in terms of fighting games. And it's just like, at least like with the online play and stuff, it's just like competitively, it's just a lot more popular. And like, there's Street Fighter 5 as well. But again, that's like way bigger deal. I mean, I like Soul Calibur more, but I know generally speaking, Street Fighter and Tekken are just more popular and more played competitively. So they just have, I think that those games just have a little bit more of a budget. Well, at least in Tekken 7, I don't know about Street Fighter 5 with budget, but they just have a little bit more like support. I feel like just, like I almost didn't think, Soul Calibur 6 would get a season 2, to be honest, I think at a point.
They didn't know either. Like, I mean, like season 1 did so well, and then the sales finally caught up and exceeded expectations, and then season 2 was approved. Okubo has said that multiple times, but I think that like there is a crazy did mention that there is a third Japanese roundtable right after Evo, so that it is a possibility there, but I don't know because they might be just focusing on like the next generation version of the fighting games coming out because we got like that rehash of Virtual Fighter 5 coming up, even though that's not Bandai Namco, but we have the new seasons of the current fighting games, and I'm sure we're going to start seeing, maybe we'll see like a Tekken Ultimate Edition on PS5 at some point within the next year. Yeah, I don't know.
And Crazy said if there will be a third Japanese roundtable right after Evo as in the last year, then the announcement can happen there, but Evo would be a better choice. Yeah, I agree. I think, it's just like, that's just a long amount of time to pass to like do an announcement for season 3, I'd say. If it's not Evo.
Patriot says Pac-Man for Soul Calibur season 3 guest. Dude, every time I hear of Pac-Man now, I just think of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, where Michael Cera's like, did you know that Pac-Man in Japanese is Paku Paku, and they had to change his name because if you release you remember that story? Yeah. No, I just always think of that whenever they say it now. Rocky says, "How you doing? How you doing?"
I think what people tend to forget about Soul Calibur versus these other fighters is that unlike Soul Calibur, those other games have much bigger budgets. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, everyone that's argued that point against me that like, oh, budget doesn't matter, like doesn't know what they're talking about. And Soul Calibur can't be compared to the other fighters. It's on a totally different level, and they do their own thing completely differently than everyone else.
I mean, I'm still shocked that Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is getting stuff. However, and that is Bandai Namco, but that's also Dragon Ball, though. It's like a whole other level.
Yeah, I think Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2 together in like 2019 said that they surpassed like 10 million units sold for that game. So that's granted, it's the first 2 games combined, but that's a crazy number for a Dragon Ball game. Besides Fighters, because Fighters is an anomaly, and like it's like the best-selling Dragon Ball game of like all time. Rocket Kid TV says, I looked up on Google Soul Calibur 6 characters, and it showed Bowsette at the end of the list. Yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
It actually does. Bowsette. It actually does, but I think they did that last year for April Fools, and it just never came down. Because I saw people commenting on that last year, and I was like, yeah, right. They were like, season 2, we're gonna get Bowsette. I'm like, okay.
There's not even a Switch version. How are we gonna get her?
We're not. It's not going to be on Switch either, unless maybe we get a Soul Calibur 6 on the new Switch that's coming out like probably this year. That's a possibility, but the current Switch, it's not going to run on, and I won't buy it on the current Switch because Mortal Kombat 11 runs like ass. Xenoverse 2, you can't even get around the HUD without like dropping frame rates.
I just don't understand how Doom Eternal runs well on the Switch.
I think because it's like not as expansive when it comes to stuff like customization and like open world stuff and things of that nature. Because it's like it's a very like linear. This world to that world to that world. It reminds me kind of like the Unreal games or whatever. It's like it's more arcadey, but I
guess it's also first person, so you don't have to like the character you're playing as doesn't have
right. And then a lot of the demons are like just rehashed models that like keep reappearing and stuff. So you want to talk about Crazy's comment?
The one that's starts with by the way.
Yep.
Okay, he said, by the way, talking about Sam Show, maybe the last character, season 3 of Sam Show, would be Soul Calibur character since Halmaru is in Soul Calibur 6 already. That's a possibility. However, I think they've already kind of talked. Well, I think they talked about season 3 for Samurai Showdown, and I think it's even been data mined. And I don't think there's not a Soul Calibur guest character. There's actually a Guilty Gear guest character. So I do think a Soul Calibur guest character would be great in Samurai Showdown. I just don't know if it's happening this season at least.
Yeah, they could throw Mai Shiranui in there because she's in everything.
Yeah, she's basically
like the Heihachi of like. Tayman says, Mark, going to make it sell well. Oh, because somebody says they should put me in season 3.
Hell yeah, there we go.
don't think people could stand a chance, unfortunately.
Too OP.
I'm too OP. Timon says everything going. Oh, okay. They're just talking amongst themselves now. Nice to see the Yoon fam getting along.
Rocket Kid asked, "Do you guys see Dante from DMC as a guest?"
He was supposed to
possible,
be. He was supposed to be in 3, right? He was supposed to be the character that was in 3. So it's always a possibility that they do that, especially because of 5. But I would rather honestly see Nero. Don't kill me, but I would rather see Nero at this point because I feel like he's the new main character.
I actually kind of agree with that, even though I like Dante more. I think because it's like we've had Dante in fighting games before, and the cool and see, like, even though I always complain that Nero should have more weapons and stuff, it would kind of work in this case because then it's like you can kind of represent his moveset better because you don't have to worry about like, oh, is he gonna have this weapon, this weapon, this weapon?
Yeah, Dante's been in like the Beautiful Joe game. He's been in the what was that tactics game? I forget. That's on the 3DS. I have both of them. But
Project Cross Zone. Oh, yeah,
Project Cross Zone. He's in those. Virgil, they would never add. Soul Calibur only adds main protagonists. That's it. And Virgil, like I said in my video, Virgil can't even get in his own games, let alone somebody else's.
God. Oh, and also, Crazy did actually say there's still one character left after Guilty Gear Guest. Okay, I haven't been too caught up with Samurai Showdown, so I apologize if I'm less informed there. But yeah, I haven't played it yet.
You gonna Wayne's?
Oh yeah. What's Soul Calibur 6's sales like? Two good characters, new characters can get lots of people back playing again. Give us Sephiroth and Dante, and you have a new game. I mean,
they haven't. Well, like I said, Sephiroth would never make it in because they only do main protagonists. So it would be Cloud, if anything. Maybe Zack if they're going based on that new game or that new add-on game they're supposed to. But that's wishful thinking on my part. Because poor Zack is like the Virgil of Final Fantasy. But as opposed to the sales, I know that in 2018 they passed 2 million physical. Now that's just physical. So I think it might be pushing up to 4 million if you include digital sales, but they haven't released the numbers on that, so I can only speculate past what they said in the time that's happened since then. Yeah, it looks like a certain villain as the last Sam Show character. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too versed on it.
That's interesting. But Terrence actually asked, who will you rather have in Soul Calibur in Season 3, Cloud or Dante? I would rather have Dante.
Yeah, Dante, 100%. Cloud's in a million things.
Also, it's like the Cloud. It's like we already have like 2 like kind of really like, big sword user characters.
Yeah.
And granted, I know Dante does use one as well, but he at least uses other weapons and stuff too.
And having his style would actually be a lot better for Creative Soul because if he's using Ebony and Ivory at all, like Ebony and Ivory and his sword, then like we can make a lot more characters based on that.
Yeah.
Someone says end of stream. I end streams at 1 hour. Get out of here. Yoon-Fam attack.
He said dislikers club. Oh,
okay. You can be a disliker. That's fine. Go back to eating Cheetos in your mom's basement and I dislike your life.
Squall or Titus. Oh, I gotta say Squall there.
Well, Squall is my favorite Final Fantasy character, period. So Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy game, and it's never been passed for me. We have a mod in the chat. Let's see.
Oh, and yeah, sure. You can tell me that last character's raging.
I just blocked that loser. He just said boring, so yeah. I know. I said boring too about his mom last night, so I guess like he's probably trying to get back at me for that. I broke up him and his mom's marriage. Rocky Ford said, I would like to see Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Never going to happen. His shoes are too big.
Jesus Christ.
His shoes will be his weapon. It'll be like the Grieve Edge from 3. Just these giant like sneakers.
He would have the best kicks. He would have literally and figuratively, he would have the strongest kick attacks in the game.
What if Yoon Song comes back, but he's got Sora's shoes?
I mean, I would love to see like Riku or like Terra or something. That would be sick. But I know obviously it'd be Sora or I would love Roxas too. But
that's another game that's got Akatsuki.
Okay, yes. So yeah, I heard about Biken is Biken is pragmatic Guilty Gear guest, and then Amakusa Is that a Samurai Showdown character? I'm not as familiar with Samurai Showdown, so
I'm not
I
either. It's like
apologize.
the one game I have. I'm not really up on.
Imagine if we got Bayonetta. I would love that. I would really like that.
Yeah, Bayonetta would be cool, especially if we get like a Switch Pro version or like a Switch 2, whatever the hell it's going to be called. I don't know. Like, I mean, like, it's up to you guys. I have an announcement at the end of the video in like 10 minutes I'm gonna make that some of you are privy to, but
Oh, Axel. Yeah, I would love Axel Solar Flare. He's one of my favorites.
yeah, I always go with the Sasuke. I never go with the main character. So I'm like a Vegeta fan. I'm a
Did we want to talk about why it's it might be okay if we don't get more characters?
You can start that off.
Okay. Well, I think it might be okay because where's it going? Well, I think because all right. So say if like it's true that Aeon, Yoon Song, and Rock are our last characters, I think it would be a little more exciting and like they could be a little more of a focus of the game if they're introduced as brand new characters in the sequel, as opposed to just kind of like the last sort of leftover DLC of Soul Calibur 7. And I think it would give them more time to kind of start working on Soul Calibur 7, and like all the budget for Soul Calibur 3, for Season 3, could just be put towards Season 7, Soul Calibur 7, and they could start working on that ahead of time.
Season
and
7,
I know there's so many S's, S's and sevens. They could have more time and budget to work on Soul Calibur 7. And even though I would like those characters, I mean the only one I really care about is Aeon, and that's more so if he fights how he's in Soul Calibur 5. So I don't really have much of a horse in this race with those three.
Yeah, I can see. I'd rather see the 3 DLC characters as base roster characters in Soul Calibur 7 than as DLC characters. I don't think they offer as much bang for their buck as like the previous seasons. I know a lot of people. I'm shitting on someone's favorite character, but I just don't think they have the selling power. It would come down to the guests. I think the only person that would have like a major impact on sales would be Aeon. And that depends on what version or what variety Aeon comes in also. If he's like his Soul Calibur 5 Twin Axe Breathing Fire style, or is he going to be a Sword and Shield user? Like that greatly depends on like the sales as well.
I also actually think, I could be wrong about this, I think if Aeon is added in Soul Calibur 7, that might actually increase his chances of being how he was in 5, because they maybe want it, because he was more unique, so it's like they might, they'd have a little more fuel to add a more unique character as a new character in a sequel than just a DLC character kind of at the end of the game's lifespan.
Yeah. Rocket Kid says Aeon, Guest, Yoon, and Rock. That's my guess if we get a Season 3. Well, they usually announce them in order of the code, and the code is actually Rock, Aeon, a Guest, and then Yoon Song. So, yeah, that would be self-explanatory, but I don't think that they would release it in that order. They haven't switched up the release of the characters, like I don't think at all. Like I think it happened one time, I think maybe with Hilda, but everyone else has been, or maybe it was Amy. I don't know, but everyone else has been released in order as they appear in the data files of the code.
I mean, I will say this: if the guest character is going to be someone from like Guilty Gear, some that I would really like, it would be a shame for me because it's like I got into Soul Calibur and Guilty Gear at like the same time, and just to see them together would be like, mwah. But it is what it is. If that doesn't happen,
yeah,
I'm not sure if that's who they'd pick.
I agree with that. I also agree with Rich that like I think that the resources would be better spent focusing on Soul Calibur 7 at this point. I'm not going to be mad if we don't get a Season 3. I feel like the game's in a good place. I like the amount of characters we have. I like the characters that we have. If they do continue to support the game with patches, I just hope we get some more Creative Soul stuff or possibly add some new things onto Libra of Souls, because the only thing you can do in that after you beat the story 2 times is to keep going around fighting the random characters and the astral fissures that pop up. But beyond that, guys, like I think like my soul still burns. Like I'm not like going to be upset if we don't get a Season 3. If we do get a Season 3, of course I'm going to be excited because that means more stuff for Creative Soul, more characters to play with. But I don't think we're going to get anybody game-changing or meta-changing. And like the people were mentioning about like the to be continued, I just think it's wrapped up in a nice little package the way it's presented now, barring any future support. And Rocket Kid says, I think we won't see Soul Calibur 7 until next year or 2024. 2023, 2024 is my projection on that. I think that's a good year release with that. The only reason I would see it longer is if they rebuild it from the ground up using Unreal Engine 5 instead of Unreal Engine 4. But it depends on if they have the budget for that.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, like if like they do say there won't be Season 3, I'll be like, oh damn, that sucks. But it's like it wouldn't be like the end of the world. Like I do really like this roster. It is probably overall the best roster of any Soul Calibur game. I mean, the only things that are really missing for me are like Aeon you know, and obviously like Zvi and Algol and Viola would be nice as well, but really just Aeon. But it's not like a deal breaker or anything. It's still
They're going to
overall
shoot
the
their
best
shot with this
roster.
game either, and just like completely blow their load and put all those characters in the first game. Like I
That's
mean, like
true.
we got
Yeah.
the start of a new timeline, so they're gonna drip that out to us, and the hype's gonna build real over time. Dynasty Warriors character would be awesome, but it depends on who it is. I would love Lubu, but they'd probably go with like the main character from the Wu family. I forget its name because like they always go with like just the main protagonist. Yeah, there's a lot of Dynasty and Samurai Warriors characters that I love to death. And I could see them being there, but I would rather actually see them team up with Soul Calibur and have Soul Calibur characters in the next Dynasty or Samurai Warriors game, like they did in Warriors Orochi 3 with Ryu Hayabusa and Ayane and Kasumi and Rachel.
Sophia was in that. Or am I imagining? I thought she was in a Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors game.
Was she? I remember the Ninja Gaiden characters. I don't.
There was a few series that I think was in that.
There might have been. That does sound vaguely familiar now that you mention it, but I could also be thinking of that Wii game, the one that Ishka Oct is from, but when she's a boy. You know what I'm talking about? The Soul Calibur Legend.
Oh, the one that had Lloyd as a guy.
Yeah. Because that's kind of
maybe
it's not Dynasty Warriors and Musu-esque, but Sophitia wasn't in Warriors Orochi 3. Okay.
So I wasn't imagining.
She must have been in like the PS4 version because I don't believe she was in the PS3 version.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I played the shit out of Warriors Orochi 3. Like that's like one of my favorite games.
I'm probably one of the oddballs that would actually rather a character from Sengoku Basara, which is like Capcom's answer to Dynasty Warriors from Soul Calibur, but it's like that series is like so dead at this point, unfortunately, and more obscure.
Yeah. I liked it though. I thought that was a good series.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close this out in a minute, but I have an announcement that I would like to make. Incoming Yoon exclusive. So I have a contest coming out. I'll give more details as they roll out, but the contest is going to be this. I want you guys to create in Soul Calibur 6 Mark Yoon and Ragiroth as actual characters in the Creative Soul. And I also want you to create KittyMeowser Gaming. And the three of us, I want you to write a story. Now, be careful. I should be careful with saying this because I know there's going to be some stories about me and Rich that I'm not going to find too pleasant. But or maybe too pleasant, maybe thick you. But create us three characters, and I want you to show me in the Discord the characters you created, and along with that, I want a story that involves all the three of us. And the winner, I'm going to choose three winners. The top winner is going to be able to play any game they want with me for an hour personally, just me and you one-on-one. And I'm going to give you a head sketch of any character from Soul Calibur. That's bonus character, anyone from Soul Calibur. It's got to be a head sketch, though, because I'm working on a new book right now, so I don't have a lot of time. But it can be physical or digital. And I don't know. I will add you to my PlayStation friends list, which I don't do very often. I usually only put people on Athens when they play with me from the Yoon-Fam. So I think this will be a fun little contest. Rich, do you want to get in on this contest at all? You want to spike up the ante? You want to up the ante a little bit?
But like me, like
you want to add a prize, or you want to add a contingency?
I would. I just can't think of one right now.
How about the first place winner can play a session with me, you, and KittyMeowser Gaming all together?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We'll play whatever you want all together. The deadline, I'm going to make an official video, Terrence. So I'm going to put that out probably this week. So maybe I'll replace Thursday's vocal library video with the official announcement. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time because I'm in the process of moving and stuff. So it'll probably be by like the end of summer. And then we'll announce a winner come like September. I want to give you guys some time because you do have to create three characters and write a whole story. And maybe I'll throw in up the ante and add some new prizes as I think about it. I'm going to talk to KittyMeowser Gaming about it too because I don't know if Courtney wants to throw anything in there as well. But we can definitely set up a game session with all three of us and just one person. So it'll be you, the top winner, and us. And we won't mute you. And beyond that, yeah, David says nice fanfics are going to come. Yeah, I can see them already. It's like
Oh my god.
Mark Yoon pulled out Soul Edge, and Rich bent over and said, "Ooh boy,
Ooh boy.
ooh boy." It's not only my soul that's burning. Sorry for the Hep C, Rich.
It's all right. It'd be like that sometimes.
Your new nickname, Mark, is Edgemaster. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to allow Rich to have some closing statements as well. But be sure to, in the description box of this video and every other video, Rich is one of the channels that is part of the Yoon-Fam, so you can go find him in the description box of my video down below. Please give him a follow and a subscribe if you have not already. And I want to thank you guys for watching and listening. And I'm going to turn this over to Rich before we bounce out.
Yeah, this was really fun. Thanks for having me, Mark. It was nice chatting with you guys and talking more about Soul Calibur 6. I know I don't do that as much on my channel. I apologize, but yeah, no, this was really cool. And I look forward to the results of the contest Mark started.
We're gonna pick 3 winners, and we're gonna read them together. We're gonna voice our section of like that. So it's gonna be me, Rich, and Kitty all in a video. We're gonna make 3 different videos. Reading and acting out your story, like it's gonna be
a voiceover thing for me. There we go.
It's gonna be epic. Oh, Ragiroth senpai. You want to close out your statement?
Oh, thank you, Tay Man. Said they sub to me.
Thanks, Tay Man. I appreciate it, buddy.
But yeah, no, I got nothing else. I mean, hopefully season 3 will happen. If not, then we can at least look forward to Soul Calibur 7's. I think all I can really say there.
All right, cool. I'm going to release this in parts this week, guys. So those of you who missed the live stream, so if you see these videos this week, I'm sorry. There's a lot of stuff going on. Silverfish says, "Let the shipping horrors begin." We got to do our opening, our old opening for that. You got to do like the
oh my god,
it's Ragiroth Enterprises.
Hell yeah!
I like the singer. I like the moon and the demon and the springer. It's gonna be great. Awesome. Yeah, you guys know the deal. I want to sound off in the comment section down below. I want to see the Yoon-Fam. You guys know how to end the stream for me, guys. We're gonna count down to the count of 3, and we're all gonna say it together. Rocket Kid's got the right idea. I love it. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
See you guys.